Welcome back to the JustMen podcast. I'm your host, Byron, and this is my good friend,
Jeremy. Hi, guys.
Oh, thank goodness you remember your name, Jeremy. We're really excited to be back. It's episode 10, can you believe it? And we're here with some more awesome talking points. But before we get into it, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who continues to support us and show some love. We do have our Patreon, of course, that is available for just the wee little price of a cup of coffee, and it goes a long way to helping us continue this little project for you all. But Jeremy, I'm excited, man. It's good to be back. How are you?
I'm doing great. Byron, can you believe this is episode 10? We were kind of joking at the start. It's like, man, is this going to go for 1 or 2 episodes? It's going to call it. But we're still here enjoying each other's company. And as you can see, it's winter now. We're rugged up. Still here to talk about everything that we're doing on the internet. But today, actually, last week, we talked about stuff of from ladies, I think, particularly. They're asking, am I overreacting in regards to the way that there's something happening between them and their partner? We've had another juicy little board on Reddit called AskMen. So if anyone has been to Reddit before, you know exactly what we're talking about. But if you've never been to Reddit before, what this is a board where people of the internet quite literally ask questions to other men, just asking for their opinion. And so we took a little scroll and we thought, you know what, let's chime in to answer some very, obviously hot topic questions on this board that men are getting asked. And we want to kind of give our 2 cents on these very common questions. Yep. So I know it's fun. I like what we're doing, Byron, because it's we're presenting, good value to the listeners. We're also providing, an insight on some things which they might be confused about. But these are obviously topics that, we're not just making up ourselves. These are actual topics that people are asking.
Real people, real questions.
So I like that. Real people, real questions. Just asking
and
men.
real answers.
Real answers. That's a good one. So this episode is going to be answering question. Wait, what did you say before? It was ask just men.
Yes.
Answer.
No. Reddit ask men asks just men questions. Is that what I said?
I think so. Or just men answer ask men questions.
Yes.
Like either way, it works. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's crack in. I want to see what kind of questions the internet is asking other men in this day and age.
I'm so excited. I read the first 2 and I knew this was going to be amazing. So, all right, Jeremy, the rules of engagement. We're going to fire these off. We're going to give our unfiltered responses and then see if we can what advice we would essentially provide. Because after all, they are asking for opinions and advice.
Yep.
And then depending on what's required, we can move on and see how many we rattle off. So, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it. It might be a short answer, might be a long answer, but depends on the question, I suppose. So let's go.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Middle-aged gents, what's your view on playing video games at your age? I'm a middle-aged man and I still enjoy playing video games. I just recently had a discussion with my family, who are all older than me, about video games in general, and they looked at me with disdain and disgust that I would waste my time, especially at my age, playing these things still. I'm not lazy by any means. I work hard and I have shit to do. I grind to the fullest. However, when I don't, I game. Have you ever been hit with ageism for gaming? Is it a hobby in your eyes or just a waste of time?
Short answer, you fucking play video games all you want, my friends. That's the short answer. What's your opinion, Byron?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, maybe part of it is because back in the day, video games weren't really a hobby or a pastime, right? And now that we're growing up, like we've had games available to us our entire lives. And so now it's a perfectly reasonable pastime in the same way reading a book is a pastime, right? I don't think
just for that matter, because I remember vividly growing up, my parents were like, all right, we've got the video games. I don't want you to play too much. Obviously, I was fucking obsessed. So, but I can see from their point of view that I don't want you to play video games more because develop bad habits, get lazy, not do the work. Like they're very reasonable things.
Yeah.
But as the guy described, he's got a job, he's contributing to society, he grinds, he does what he needs to do, but on his downtime, he's just playing games. And it's exactly as you said. However you choose to spend your time is up to you, your downtime. You can read a book, you can go for a walk, you can build model planes. Like what you choose to do in your free time is yours. And I don't think it's a hobby that makes it any less I don't know, less manly or less valid than any other hobby that someone would have. So,
yep. So again, the key distinction is, as provided you're doing all the other things that you're supposed to do, getting up, cleaning yourself, going and like if you've got a job or study or whatever, and you're still contributing to society in a way, and it's not taking over your life, go for it. Enjoy your downtime. Yeah, easy one, right?
I think so. Just one little caveat I'll put on top of that too, because I know there's going to be people out there, all of like these grind set mindset. If you're not making money, you're wasting time, kind of guys out there. And look, I get it. There's some of us who want to build empires. There's some of us who want to put in those 80-hour-a-week entrepreneurial endeavor kind of thing. And you might think, playing video games is a waste of time. If you're not building yourself, you're wasting your time. And again, that's up to you, man. That's up to you. There are people who, in order to earn lots of money, you have to do a lot of extra work. But Byron, you and I had this discussion like yesterday. I swear to God, it was this whole because we're both pursuing entrepreneurial pursuits to build our own business, don't have to work for anyone else, and there are times in which we're like, should I just get a job? Should I just get a full-time job and work for someone else? And it can be a lot easier that way because you don't have to worry about where your next pay is coming from. You leave your work at work, you come home, you don't have to work anymore, right? Yeah. And some people prefer that. Some people will be okay with that. They don't want to become an entrepreneur. They don't want to, build a business and make millions and millions a year, or just build a business for themselves in general. And so, maybe they will have more downtime, but I don't think what someone chooses to do with their spare time is something that we should
gatekeep for anybody. Everyone should be able to make their own choice, right? And as long as you're comfortable with the life that you're living, and you don't have any regret or want to do something different, then go for it, right? Sometimes, Jeremy, I do wish that I was the guy who'd had no aspirations, who was happy to go pick up garbage, earn, $100K a year, have 2.5 children, drink beer on Friday at 5 p.m. and just live my life like that for the next 50 years. But that's not me.
No.
So here I am.
I mean, but the guy in the post too, I think, because he said, my family's giving me XYZ flack. My question would be, all right, what do your family do in their spare time?
Yeah.
Like, maybe they
and then
don't
shame them for it.
Yeah, it's like,
how dare you crochet?
How dare you crochet on the weekends? How dare you go for a walk? What the hell, man? That's so weird. Like,
you play golf? Ugh.
Can't believe it.
Ridiculous, eh?
It's silly. But if you play games, man, just play games. If you feel bad about playing games, ask yourself why. Yeah. Because I don't think it's got to do with the games. It's got more to do with what you're choosing to do instead. So
100%. All right, well, hopefully that answers that question, All right, the next one. This is actually cool. How many average men in their 20s to 30s can do 10 plus push-ups, really? I can only do about 13 to 15 max in one set with proper form. Thin build 24-year-old male here. People in bodybuilding forums say that's pretty low/weak. Is it really that out of the ordinary for the average dude who doesn't work out, or am I just comparing myself with the wrong people?
Well, let's take this from before we kind of give the answer. Byron, how many push-ups can you do? Let's say maximum. Right now, if you were to do it.
So I reckon I'd get 50.
Nice.
No problem. Right. And that's, but here's the little, actually, how many do you get?
Because I don't work out the way that you do. If I'm good, maybe once or twice a week, right?
Yeah.
And I reckon I could probably do about 50 or 60, I reckon. Right?
Damn.
That's pushing it, right?
All right, hold on, challenge. Anybody who listens to this, if they want us to prove our push-ups, you have to comment and you have to message us.
We'll do it.
I'll do it. Yeah, we'll do it. But this is how we're going to check who's actually watching and listening.
Yeah.
We'll do the push-ups if you message us.
It's like, we'll prove it. We'll prove it.
Yeah.
And so the guy says, okay, what do you say? Is 24, slim builds. Yeah. Does he work out or doesn't work out? Does he work out?
He doesn't say, but he's in the bodybuilding forum, so I'm wondering if he's starting to get into fitness.
Okay. Because to be real, obviously I've dabbled in working out. Obviously, I don't do it on a regular basis like you do. I'm not built like you are. For anyone listening in who's you've never seen our faces before, Byron has been going to the gym for most of his life, I'm assuming. So he's a regular fitness person. I'm not.
Olympia.
There you go. He's wearing an Olympia jacket right now. I'm wearing a oversized, what do you call it?
Sweater.
sweater from Connor.
Yeah.
It's a bit too big, but it's warm and frumpy and it's very comfy.
Looks good.
Oh,
Yep.
thank you. My inspiration was from Chris Evans in, what was that movie? Knives Out.
Yes.
Yeah, there was this thing where he was wearing just what do they call it, a waffle sweater or something. Anyway, I saw this and I'm like, yeah, this looks like a comfy sweater. Anyway, the point is, I dabble, so I haven't been not working out. So I can, there's other questions like, how many pull-ups can you do? Because I think a reasonable level of fitness is to be able to do a pull-up. And I know some people can't do a single pull-up. Right?
Yep. Here's another stat for you.
Yeah.
People over the age of 30, 75% of them will never sprint again in their life. I think it's something crazy like that. Or maybe it's 80%. Never will run at full pace again. That's crazy for the rest of their life. Anyway, but yes, you dabble, pull-ups.
So I have a very base level of okay fitness. Yep. Could I run a marathon right now? Absolutely not. Could I do a fitness thing? Probably not as well. But I can do a reasonable level of body weight exercises. So that being said, I vividly remember kind of getting into fitness for the first time. And the goal was, do like 3 sets of 10 push-ups. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I think if you are just getting into fitness in any capacity, it doesn't matter how small you are, how big you are, how heavy you are, how light you are, your height, your weight, your background, whatever, I wouldn't personally give yourself too much flack for the numbers. Because at the end of the day, Dwayne, you probably know this better than anybody else. I just say this in social skills because the same thing applies. The only person that you're competing against is yourself.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're maxing out at 13 to 15 push-ups today, good on you. Like, fuck yeah, man. Maybe by next week, maybe you can get up to 15 to 17. Like that should be the goal, because regardless of what the standard is, it doesn't matter. You should be just competing against yourself, and that's it.
Yeah. I was going to say before, the caveat to the number of push-ups I can do right now is dependent upon how much I train it. So like I don't train full push-ups. Right. But if I wanted to get better at push-ups, I would include push-ups in my routine. Now, just because I can't, so if I was to add push-ups in, I reckon I'd easily get to 100 and be able to do that on a consistent basis.
Woo, crazy.
I reckon I go for, So, but that again is because I'm working towards increasing the number.
Yeah.
Right. Now, relative strength for everybody is a bit different. Like if you're not working out, you are going to be weaker. You might find doing 10 push-ups is really tough. But as a man, if you start, it's going to happen super fast.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You will get past that 10 push-ups really quickly. So I think the average man, if we're to answer this question in their 20s or 30s, can do 10 plus push-ups or not. How many? I would say, oh man, I actually think I'd be pretty brutal. I don't think more than 50% would actually be able to do it in current, like if you just walked up, 1 out of 2 guys wouldn't be able to do it.
10 push-ups,
right?
yeah.
But the difference is, if they gave it a week, come back and talk to me again, they'd get it.
I agree.
For sure.
So I think it depends on like your lifestyle and what you ever choose to do. And I don't think most people have a active workout routine, as nice as it would be, or like I don't have an active workout routine. Still thinking about it, Byron. I'm thinking about it. But that could be said. Does everyone have a regular dental plan? Does everyone have a regular diet they follow? Does everyone have, a good hair routine or clothing routine? Like there's so many aspects of our life which, could better us, could make us better as an individual. But we can only, I guess, choose to focus our mental strength on so many and on the ones that matter. So I think overarching, is 10 to 13 a bad thing? I don't think so.
No.
But
I think he's doing really well, and he'll get better. But overall, gentlemen, if you are interested in gaining more strength, just start. Right? And if you don't care, that's fine. It doesn't make you any less manly or what. And you do not need to compare yourself with these guys in the bodybuilding forums who say you're weak. Like I lived my whole life outside of work in the gym, essentially. Right? So my relative strength to yours is going to be vastly different. Do I look at someone and go, oh, you're a weak dog? Like, you're not a man. Grow up, will you? Go to the gym.
Go to the gym.
Yeah, no, I don't do that. And any guy who does do that has a small wiener. So I'm just...
There you go. You heard it from the bodybuilding man himself. So there you go.
You don't have small wieners. I love you. But yes.
No, that's good. I like that. I think that's a fair thing to be worried about, especially if you're starting out and you're comparing yourself, and that's normal.
Yeah. Now, Jeremy, the next one is, I don't know if we're qualified to talk about it, but we'll see what happens. I mean, maybe we can talk about it in some capacity, but men who lost everything in their divorce, where are you now? Were you able to crawl out of it? That's
interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's, again, because like you said, neither of us have been divorced. Both of us have been through a breakup, so emotionally there might be some relevance there. But I'm also assuming divorce could include a lot of things like money. It could include things like property. It could include a lot of different things. And I think the answer is still the same at the end of the day. When you go through hardship, when any person goes through hardship, not just guys, but also girls as well, it's going to be up to you to choose, the world did this to me. Fuck the world. Like, this sucks. I can't believe this happened to me. Or, you can choose like, well, this happened. Fuck, that sucks. But what can I do to start moving forward? And just like any breakup, just like any bad thing that happens in your life, maybe you lose a loved one, maybe bad things happen to you, there will be a mourning there will be a mourning process. Right? There's going to be a time which you are going to feel shit. There's going to be a time which like you are going to feel sad, and you are not going to be able to move forward until you are able to process that emotionally. But over time, I would hope that you are able to start taking small steps in the direction that you want to go. And I don't know, like, if the context of this question is this guy just got freshly divorced, or if it's
he doesn't say.
Maybe it's a few years later. But
he's thinking about divorce even.
Maybe thinking about divorce. Yeah, maybe it's like, it haven't happened yet, but is this going to break me? Right?
Yeah.
But again, my opinion is if something bad happens, if you're about to go through something bad, you can do it. You can do it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm not going to compare anything, but
On this one, because I had a quick skim through the comments, and man, it's an interesting take, because I feel like there's very little middle ground on here. Some people like, hey, here's the high road I took. I gave my ex-wife everything. I built myself back up. I went through the motion. Sounds like a dude who I would want to emulate in a relationship, right?
Absolutely.
Like, then you get another dude who's like, hold on, I'll actually just read this. Holy shit, threads and stories like this, because he's responding to somebody else's experience. Yeah. Holy shit, threads and stories like this are a constant reminder for me to never, in quotations, marry, right? And it just, there's another one who said, that's rough. Hopefully some young man looking through this thread doesn't make the same mistake, but ass and tits will blind you really fast. Like, so there's this dichotomy between guys who are now like, no, women are the devil, don't get married, it's awful because you're gonna get screwed over. And it's like, geez, if you enter into a relationship with that outcome in mind already, you're already doomed. Yeah. And then the guys who are like, look, it didn't work out. No, we're not friends. No, am I bitter? I mean, yes, maybe I'm a little bit bitter, but here's what I did, right? I worked through it, and so I'm going to read it. This guy says, I didn't lose everything in my divorce. I willingly gave, he put lose in quotations, by the way, because he's trying to point out that it's not a loss for him. He's like, I willingly gave my ex everything, including the house, the better of our 2 cars at the time, permission to claim our kids on her taxes. I also voluntarily pay more than the state mandated child support and chip in whenever something comes up outside of the normal day-to-day. Yeah. I continued to pay child support on our daughter until her 20th birthday, and since our son is autistic, while severe autism isn't the proper way of saying it, it is the easiest way to get the point across regarding the effect his autism has on social and cognitive state. I have agreed to continue his child support until he is approved for disability benefits, as he is now 18 years old and will be out of school as of this weekend. My kids are my number one priority, and I want them to have as much stability in their lives as possible. It's not their fault their mum and me aren't together anymore. I watched my parents weaponize money and visitation after they split up, catching my sister and me in the crossfire on far too many occasions, and I refuse to engage in that kind of behavior. That said, through hard work and more than a little luck, I'm in a better financial situation than ever, without ever forgetting that it can crumble in an instant like anything else. I like to think it's because I don't center my life around accumulating money, and instead work to be giving and reasonable, as well as accumulating skills and experience in my field. This guy is the epitome of being a good bloke.
That is Wonderful. That is just gave me a smile just listening to how that he was choosing to handle it, right?
Yes.
Because I think
and
it's
he's not blaming his wife.
He's not.
And he's not like being bitter about it. And he's not like, never marry because it's an awful experience. He loves his kids. He's got 2 wonderful children out of it. And as a result, he's still continuing to provide for them and move forward. And he's making that choice, right? I think that's the key.
I think that's, you nailed it on the head, Byron. You nailed it on the head. It's really, at the end of the day, you choose to blame something, right? And he's choosing not to blame his partner or his ex-partner for everything that went wrong. He said, just quite simply, we didn't work out. Maybe it's someone's fault, but that's the result. The result is it didn't work out. And I'm going to choose to not be bitter about it. I'm going to choose to keep providing for my kids because I want to, not because I have to. And I'm going to still, be able to build something for myself, even without, my ex-partner in my life. And I can still thrive. So, if anything, I think that guy put down a really good comment. So, I know the guy who is listening in can say, look, I can survive. I can still make a wonderful life out of myself.
That's the point, right?
Yeah.
I was going to say, listening to his story versus the guys who are like, women are bad, never married. This is a good reminder where things can go wrong. Like if I had to pick which one of those 2 dudes I'd want to be, it'd be the dude who's now like, you know what? I can thrive. I can do this.
100%.
That's a much better emotional state and state of life to be in than someone who's just like, women are the devil, no good, divorce sucks. Like, yes, it does. But, you can choose to continue to live life in a positive way, or you can be bitter about it for the rest of your life. Which one do you want to be? Pick.
Perfectly put. Perfectly put, Byron. I love that. It's funny because you put up a very, not the same post, but there was a post that you put up, I think earlier this week, about a guy who was, God, what was he saying? It was something like... red pill? The red is
so
like...
he's talking to his missus about, red pill ideology after she showed him a video, and he's like, yeah, that's what women are like. Yeah, they're all the same. Oh, except you, babe, not you. Like, it's fine.
And then she was like,
what?
This really gave me the ick. And is that
That's a big red flag.
And no, I don't think it's overreacting whatsoever. But the reason I bring this up is because this guy, he agreed with the idea that, you can't trust women. Women are only after money. And that it very much reminds me of these guys saying, don't get married. They're just going to take everything from you. Right?
Okay.
To me, you can live a perfectly happy life not being in a relationship. You can be single. That's fine. But at the same time, don't be the kind of person who turns around and says, I'm really lonely. I want to get into a relationship, but I don't trust women. If you don't trust women, don't date women. Just date another guy if you feel like men are that superior, right?
Yeah, guys are real trustworthy.
100%. They're much more trustworthy, apparently. So,
yeah.
But in this case, I think it's exactly as you said. Just you can choose to be bitter about something. Or you can choose to... I guess in this case, if you want to form a relationship with someone, obviously we're going to have to put some trust on the table because that's what a relationship's all about. And it's not always going to work out the way that we want to. That's just unfortunately the case.
Unfortunately not.
Life happens. Life happens to people and people will change. That's what it is. But at the end of the day, this will come back to the confidence that you have in yourself. Can you trust in yourself enough that no matter what comes your way, you'll be able to get through it? Whether it be a relationship breakup, a divorce, something happening to you in your life where you change as a person. It's building yourself up to become the person where you can handle whatever comes your way. And that should happen whether or not you're in a relationship or not. So
100%.
So we work on ourselves.
That's it, Jeremy. That's what it's all about. And then, again, if you get into that situation, you can work through it. You're not alone. You do get through it. It's just dependent upon how you decide to tackle it.
Yeah.
But hopefully we never experience divorce ourselves.
Hopefully not. But again, time will tell, Byron. I'll be there for you, my friend. No matter what the world throws at you, I'll be there for you. Okay?
I'll be there for you too,
I got you, friend.
All right, next one. What are the rules of the bro code? Just list your favorite or most important or prominent ones. Jeremy, bro code. Do you have a bro code rule?
It's so funny that you mentioned this. I okay, if I come down to think of it, the first thing that comes to mind, which I don't necessarily agree with, it's just one of the first things I heard when I was in high school, right? And it was, don't date your mate's ex.
Oh, yeah.
Right? To a degree, I kind of agree, and that only made sense to me after it pretty much came straight into my face. So after my breakup with my long-term partner, my now someone I don't talk to, it was one of my best friends at the time, one of the first things he does is make a move on this partner of mine. And this is, mind you, within like the first month, and I'm still, sad just thinking about it, I cry randomly kind of thing. And the only way I found out about this is because she was kind enough to tell me what happened.
Oh.
And I was just like, man, there is no tact whatsoever. Like, I don't agree with it 100% because say he tried to do that now where I'm emotionally removed from it, we don't talk anymore, you date who you want, I don't care. And if, things were to happen and they get together, it's like, you know what, good on you. Like, glad you guys found each other. But when it's one of those things where it's so close to something that just recently happened, it's like, man, that is just such a very disrespectful way of looking at a friendship.
Yeah. Far. I'm glad I've never experienced this, but I can only imagine what it would have been like for you, hey? Like, it is such a dog move because you essentially lose two people in that instance, right?
You do.
Yeah.
And I know, I hope it never happens to you, and touch wood, it never happens to you and your partner right now if you guys were split, but then I was to kind of, try to give her some comfort in some way. It's a dog move. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Because it's... Oh.
It reminds me of that movie, Pearl Harbor, where the guy, he goes and fights overseas, his plane gets down, his best friend ends up looking after his girl, they fall in love and have a baby and stuff.
Yeah.
But then he comes back from the dead and he's like, what the hell, man? Like, why did you do that to my wife? Why did you knock her up? And I can only imagine how rough, that's an extreme example.
It is, but again, in that case, it's no one's fault. Right? No. It's no one's fault. It just sucks that... Actually, what was it? What's that Tom Hanks movie? Where he was by himself on an island? Castaway.
Yeah, Castaway.
Very similar thing. Good
example.
Plane goes
She's
down.
like, I thought you were dead.
Thought you were dead. Just like, yeah. I was, and I come back, I was hoping to see you again, but life moves on and, it sucks, but...
Yeah. But in that case then, sorry, just a little side note. Is there a length of time? Like, let's say after you've been broken up for 6 months or a year and something magically happens between, friend and ex, is it then on you to be like, oh, I'm past it, it's fine? Or is it like never, I don't know, that's just...
That's a fair question. That's a fair question because I do believe that over time, naturally, people should be able to accept what has happened or ended in a relationship. They should accept it and... move on with their life in whatever way that looks, with their emotional state, their physical state, they might date someone else, whatever. And there should be a time in which to say, okay, this is over. It's not going to ever happen again. That sucks, but I'm accepting it.
Yeah.
Because I do believe, I think there should be a time limit. I don't think there's a hard limit, but there should be a general rule of thumb. Because I think about it, you make a good point. There are going to be guys or girls who get hung up on their ex-partner for much longer than is necessary or even healthy. Because if you broke up and it was 5 years ago, that other person with someone new, but you're still hoping that you'll get back together after like 5 years, it's like, it's not healthy. But the question is, what is healthy? What is reasonable? What's your opinion on that, Byron?
Well, my first thought was, do I ask the friend? Like, let's say we're in the same situation, right? And I come to you, Jeremy, and I say, hey, like, would you be okay if I pursued this?
Yeah.
And you're like, no. I'd be like, okay. All right, no, okay.
Interesting.
My bad.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the real question here is, what is my relationship like with either party? Okay, just for example.
Okay.
Byron, you and your lovely lady, who I see as a friend or even a sister, I'm just going to put it like that, man, just to make it real clear.
It's all good.
Okay. Say you guys split, maybe it's been 6 months or something, right?
Yeah.
Because I value you both individually as my friends, it would have to be a point in which, I'm so, in the friendship with your partner that things were kind of starting to happen. I was starting to get a vibe And I maybe I confirmed it with her. I was like, oh, is there a vibe here? Something happening? How do you feel? It's like, and I was like, yeah, but I'm not really sure about it because of with Byron.
Yeah.
At that point in time, I think it would be reasonable to have a conversation. To be like, hey man, like I really don't want to hurt you because I treat you as a friend. Right. And I really don't want that to change. Just, you split up with this and, I'm not really sure how you feel about it, but X, Y, Z, we've had this conversation. And out of respect for you, we haven't done anything. And that's why I want to have this conversation with you first, just to kind of check in where you're at. Yeah. If at that point in time, you're like, no, fuck you, man. I can't believe this. This is bullshit. I can't believe you'd betray me like this. If that was that was the visceral reaction, I'd be like, okay, let's talk about this because I want to kind of see it through a reasonable lens. Then, if you disagreed with it for whatever reason, I think at that point in time, it would be why, at what point. Yeah.
Because it goes two ways then, right?
It does. It does.
If my emotional state is one that is not reasonable, let's say, because let's say I'm the dude who's really hung up and we're going to get back together and and there's absolutely no chance, but I'm like, no, this is going to happen because it's what I want. At that point, you can look at me as your friend and be like, bro, are you okay? This is not okay. Whereas if I'm on the other side, let's say, no, Jeremy, I can't believe you do that. But I don't want to get with her anymore, right? I'm not interested in a relationship with her anymore. But isn't that kind of taboo, dude? No. And then we talk about it. It's coming from a place of, it's a different place or starting point, right? So I'm like, oh, yeah, that far out. This is interesting.
It's very tricky, isn't it? Because I think it is like you said, if it's, I want to get back with her, you can't have her because she's mine. We're going to get back together. I'd be like, all right, dude. I would actually
because I'm not being a good friend at that point either.
You're not. So I would question a friendship if there's more the motivations behind it.
Correct.
Right? It's the motivations behind it. I think that would be the defining factor. If it's like, we're not friends, well, it's a different story, right? But because we are friends, that's the question. I think the overarching answer lies in why do you still want to get... Okay, if I want to get with my friend's ex, how do they both feel about it is number one. I would have that conversation. Number two, if it's like, someone still wants to get back with them, my question would be, why? What's the motivation here? What is your level of intimacy? We haven't talked in 6 months, but I'm still holding out for it. And I was like, yeah, okay, man.
She's moved on, bro.
She's moved on. Look, I'm kind of wanting to, but obviously out of respect, want to talk to you about it. I think that's the best way to go about it, is have that conversation if you are friends.
You got to have an uncomfortable conversation. That's basically what's going to have to happen.
And if you are friends, you should be willing to have that conversation. That's what
exactly right.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But
okay.
So, bro code. Do I agree or disagree? I think I agree with part of it, but not all of it, because I think there's a limit to it. But general rule of thumb, especially within the first month or two, just stay out of that. That's definitely not grounds to go by.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, bro code things. What's automatic bro code in your mind?
I don't even know. When I asked you, I was like, fuck, do I have a bro code rule? And the only thing that kind of popped in my mind is if an actual brother, like a proper bro, asked me to move his stuff for him, like if he's moving house, then you say yes. It's not a question of whether I want to do it or not. If you're bro, and it should go in return, right?
Yeah, of course.
And I think that's the key distinction, is if he asks for something that no one likes doing and you're actually a good brother, you'll go do it.
Right.
Don't flake on it, as much. If it's a reasonable request, go do it. Because that's what brothers deserve. You deserve to be there in the thick of shit together. And it's kind of like, Jeremy, if you called me and said I need to bury a body, I'd be like, all right, I'll get the shovel. All right? It's not good. Maybe we should talk about this.
Byron, we're moving up to tier 5 friendship now. Did you know that's the definition? It's
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah, it is. So if I don't know if I've discussed on this particular podcast, but I've got a friendship tier system, tiers 1 to 5. Very quickly, I don't want to make this the focus, but tier 1 is like we've said hi once. We've kind of seen each other in passing. A stranger that you see in the street, tier 0. They're not on the tier list, right? But tier 1, you're aware of each other's presence, you know each other's names. Would you hang out? Probably not. You just see each other in passing. Tier 2, you've seen each other a few times. Like, you've said hi, maybe you've exchanged greetings a little bit. So you know each other a little bit better than just saying hi, right? Maybe you know a little bit about what they do for work. Maybe you know a little bit about what they have for breakfast because you see them at the breakfast cafe every day, right? That's tier 2. Would you hang out with them outside of those greetings? Probably not. Okay. Tier 3, they're actual friends. You would hang out with these people outside of just how you normally interact, work, passing by, right? Tier 4, they're your besties. They're the friends that you have those hard, deep conversations with. They're the ones that you stay up with and talk about real life drama stuff. Tier 3 friends, you wouldn't do that. You'd hang out, have a barbecue, talk about footy.
Yeah.
Right, that's tier 3. So tier 4, they're your besties.
Yeah.
I never thought there was a tier 5 until I had a discussion with someone I used to be close to who said, what about tier 5? I'm like, what's that? They're your best of besties who, if you called them up in the middle of the night and said, I need your help to bury a body, they wouldn't ask, holy shit, what happened? Like, are you okay? Can I help? They would be like, no questions. I've got a shovel. Where and when? Right?
Yeah.
So they will support you no matter what. I like
to go to jail with you, my guy.
Exactly. It's like, I'm going down with you if we need to. I like to say I would willingly suck their dick to save their life. Like, that's...
Okay, that is definitely tier 5.
So that's tier 5. It's like, you know, I love this person. Like, I would do things for them that I wouldn't normally do for just a regular bestie because, you know, I think they're a treasure on this earth that needs to be protected.
Yeah.
Right? So, in the way that your answer's like, friendship, tier 5. Homies to help, bury the body. That's tier 5 friendship. Tier 4 is like, I'd move house. I'd help him move house. Bury body, I'm going to have to push that scale up a little bit.
Yeah, like testing tier 5 could get really tricky.
It's a blurred line. It's a blurred line. I think it's like an implied thing. It's like, yeah, man. Like, I'd go there for you.
Tier 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But again, I don't think you know those friendships up until there's something bad that actually happens, and they're there for you in that time. Yeah. So I think that's the only way of really saying, you know, they're the besties who showed up when I need them the most.
Yeah. If nothing else, this has made me realize I need to think more about my bro code and get some insight into what that actually is all about. But the next one I've got for you, Jeremy, is a woman I slept with is claiming she is pregnant with my baby with no actual proof. What do I do? Oh, shit.
But I've already told you my story about this.
Yeah, actually, yes.
Oh, little quick story. Someone I was seeing casually for a little bit was not being as safe as I should have, right? But she started seeing someone else, and I know for a fact that they were not being safe at all because she told me about it when I didn't care to hear about it.
At least she told you.
She told me, it's like, oh, seeing this guy, he just keeps forgetting to pull out. I'm like, no one forgets. No one forgets. That's a choice. That's a choice. Right? I never made that choice with anyone, right? So, anyway, so she tells me, oh, I'm pregnant. And I'm kind of like not doing so well with this guy, right? And she decides to keep it under silly reasons, right? And so because she's splitting up with this guy, she kind of gets to ideas like, oh, that was about the time you and I were seeing each other, Jeremy. It could be yours. So guess what? I did a paternity test.
Is that the advice?
I spat in a tube, okay? Yeah. And that gave me, on the day after New Year's Day, an email which said, you are the father with this much certainty. Oh, sorry. Let me rephrase it. This is the percentage chance that you are the father. 0.0000000%. Like to 7 or 8 decimal places, 0%. So to answer the question, am I the father or should I be worried about it? The answer is me. From my opinion, from my experience, take a bloody test.
Yeah, go get a test.
There is no way that you can ever be certain without, because we've got science now. We've got science.
Yeah, we do.
Like, if this isn't the 1900s, the 1800s, where there was no science to back that up. So, what was the question? Like, how do I know it's mine?
So someone is claiming that it's their baby with no actual proof, and they're saying, "What do I do?" And then, the answer is go get proof. And if she's not willing to do it, like, oh man, I don't even know what that would look like. But you've got to request it. You've got to request it and find out. Yeah,
you have to do it because I don't know. It's like, oh well, you need to pay child support. It's like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing anything unless a test. Yeah. So
the only thing, very, very briefly on it, is in that situation, when we talked about your experience, you said your whole world kind of felt like it was caving in, right?
Yeah.
And now that you've been through it, it's kind of like, okay, it is what it is. For guys who might be in this situation exactly, or perhaps you can give the fellas who are not pulling out regularly, give them some insight into what you feel when this happens.
When this happens.
Like,
okay.
what is the world like?
God damn. Okay, so yes, your world starts to be like, oh my God, because your life trajectory will change dramatically. If you have a child and whatever goals or aspirations, dreams or things you're working towards, you need to start factoring in the fact that, yes, you have a child and that is going to be part of either your daily, weekly schedule to raise this child, or monetarily it's going to hit you, right, in some way or another. And it comes back to the same thing. At the end of the day, how much do you believe in yourself? You can blame the world. I'm a fucking idiot. I should chop off my dick. Like, I'm not doing this again, right? That I'm not going to do this again for whatever reason. But you have to live with it. And again, you can blame the world. You can be bitter. You can hate this person. But you will find a way. And for example, if this happens, yes, I would have been distraught. I would have been very bitter. Because at this point in time in my life, I don't want kids. I don't want anything like that in my life for various reasons. But if it happened, I would find a way to deal with it. I would find a way to make it work. Would it be, the ideal situation for myself for what I want? Probably not, but I'd find a way to work with it. And so it's not the end of your life. Okay? Like, that's
the point, right?
It's not the end of your life. I know there's guys out there who, they get their girlfriend pregnant in high school or something, and, any job opportunities to go to university or whatever changes. Like, yes, things will change, but you can get through it. Like, my partner has told me the funniest things. Like, look, whenever you're worried about something, doesn't matter how big or small it is, just think of this fact. Men used to go to war.
Yeah, true.
Men still go to war, right?
Yeah.
And we're worried about, oh no, I have to pay this fine because I was speeding and it's $100 less I have this week. Like, fuck, man. Just, men have to go to war.
I have the certainty of waking up tomorrow.
That's exactly it. I have the certainty of waking up tomorrow with all of my limbs attached.
Yeah.
It's like, it's
I mean,
crazy.
Barring the minor little accidents.
Minor things. Obviously, having a child, worlds change. Some
you
people
get 4 extra limbs.
4 extra limbs. There you go. you can they might be your best friend. It could be something. But people obviously don't want children for various reasons. People want children for various reasons, and they can't have them, right?
Yeah.
So I know it's not. Everyone wants different things. I get it. But the fact of the matter is, you are much bloody stronger than you think. You're so much more capable of doing so many different things, even with a child in your life. So I'm making it sound like having children is bad. It's not. Okay? Yeah. Some people thrive. It's personally just not for me. Okay? So I just want to make it clear that having children is not a bad thing. Just me personally, it's not for me. But if it's also not for you, you can thrive still. And if it is for you, continue to thrive, my friend, with those kids that have got running around. So.
Hell yeah. You can make a little football team. Anyway, right, next question. So, men, what has pleasantly surprised you about getting older?
Byron, I would love to hear your insights. Because obviously, there's a lot of drawbacks to getting older, as I'm starting to realize bit by bit. Sometimes I wake up in the morning, I'm like, fuck, this part hurts. This part hurts. I'm not feeling as good as yesterday.
The knees don't work properly.
Hair starts to thin,
I'm getting bald.
There's also insecurities that hit you, right? Fuck, I can't lift as much as I used to. But there are a lot of things which I'm so grateful for that of getting older. But I'd like to hear your perspective first, because I've done nothing but talk for the last while.
No, that's cool. I think for myself, that with age comes a bit of wisdom.
Yep.
Right? And the wisdom that I have garnered is that life is not as scary as you think it is. And no matter what, literally what we were just talking about, no matter what happens, it's okay. You know what? It is fine. Like, shit will work out or not work out. It really is dependent upon how you kind of tackle it yourself as well. But every time I've had a situation in my life, or, a canon event, or this big thing that I thought was going to alter everything and be terrible or great or whatever, I've done it, and then it's like, oh, okay. Well, no one cares. The only person who gave a shit was me. All right, let's keep moving. And that's it. So now every time something big comes up, or, you know, there's this crossroads or, you know, fork in the road that I've got to consider a couple of different options, it's like, you know what, whatever I pick, just be happy and keep going. It doesn't matter. Like, because at the end of the day, we'll all die. You know, you get to that deathbed. And I was talking to a mate about this recently. I have 2 regrets in life, right? And they're from when I was young. And it's because I didn't either say something or do something at the time that I wish I had. And it eats away at me a little bit. I'm like, oh, but at the same time, I also know that my life would be vastly different if I had done those 2 things. So it's kind of like, what they taught me is that next time, just do the thing or say the thing or whatever, because life goes on. And every time I've done that since, whether it's quit a job, have a hard conversation, go through a breakup, whatever, you know, I'm still here. I'm still happy. I'm still doing what I want to do. And that's what getting older has taught me.
I think the biggest thing I got out of that, Byron, which I 100% agree with, is just living or being not afraid to live your life with no regrets, because
Amen.
That's the scariest thing, I think, about, to me, dying, which is leaving this life and having a regret about something. And it happened to me very recently. Very, very recently. As I told you, I got... So if anyone doesn't know, I'm in a relationship, very happy relationship with someone who I love very much, but we're also open. But for that matter, I got very close to a friend of mine that I met when I was overseas, and we kept in touch, and our relationship developed. And so obviously I had a very big, long, hard conversation with my partner, who was obviously, it's like, well, this kind of sucks because we didn't obviously talk about it as much when we should have. Again, having hard conversations is very important. And part of me that was eating away, was like, I'm going to just shut it off and just focus on my relationship. No, it's fine. But I couldn't. That's part of my brain. It's like, what if I developed this? And I could not live with that fact that was gnawing at my brain. So sat down, had a hard conversation with my partner, and I said, like, I just want to talk and just kind of see where they're at, where we're at. So we did talk for a bit longer, but it got to the stage where I realized that, yes, I was very fond of them. They were very fond of me, but because they lived quite literally the other side of the world, somewhere in the middle of Europe, the number of hoops that I'd have to jump through and make sure I jumped through that hoop perfectly to make something like this work was just way too big. Because they're also in a relationship. They want us to be poly. And again, is that what I want? I don't fucking know. But it's something they proposed, because that's not kind of what I was thinking about. But I got to the stage where I kind of realized what they want and what I want, it's just way too different. And the more I thought about it, I was like, this is so difficult, I can't make it work. There's a part of my brain now which is like, oh, possibly, would my life look different? Yeah, it would. But for sure. I made the active decision to be like, this is not going to work. I could force it, but it would mean, Byron, I'd leave everything that I have here in Australia gets pushed behind.
Don't leave me, Jeremy.
Every career aspirational goal pushed to the side. I'd have to find some full-time job that I hate to make this work with someone I don't know if it's going to work or not. Especially when I've got a healthy, wonderful relationship already. So when it comes to living with regrets, I'm glad I, to a degree, decided to explore it. But whatever it is, as I get older, as I realize I could be fucking dead tomorrow. I could go to war.
Oh, yeah.
And life is way too short to just think, oh, I'm scared about asking this girl out. I'm scared about putting my hand up for that job promotion. Like, fuck, man.
Just do it.
Just go, because the worst thing you can do is lie in your bed at the age of 65 when your limbs aren't working, thinking, I wish I had asked this person out. I wish I had tried to run that marathon. I wish I had explored more when I was younger. Because that, as I'm getting older, is what's starting to scare me, is having those regrets. So slowly, I'm identifying, Byron, what is important to me in my life right now and chasing that as hard as I fucking can. And I think that's the biggest thing I've gotten out of getting older. Like, I could worry about, look, agree with me or not, I feel like I feel more comfortable in myself as I get older. I'm better looking. I know how to dress myself. etc. People are like, oh, but your prime's in your 20s. Blah, blah, blah. I am enamored about how comfortable and hot I feel as a 30-something. People say, oh, but women are only hot when they're meh. Do you know how many stunning fucking 30, 40-year-olds that I've seen who I've had conversations with? Women also get more beautiful as they age. I might say this is a 30-something because I'm attracted to 30-somethings as well, but you just love yourself a lot more. You should learn to love yourself a lot more as you get older.
Yeah.
Between that and regret, those are my two big things. So,
I like it. Like, I think they go hand in hand too.
Yeah,
so,
I think so too.
I mean, because it was asked like, what's been good about getting older? I think those things come with time and experience. And you can try and work on it earlier, and it's a great thing to work on.
Yeah.
But you kind of, when you go through the motions and you have those things that challenge you, or everything just gets easy with evidence. So
I think so.
Yeah, get old, enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy your youth.
Fuck up a lot too. Like, learn to be okay with fucking up, because you're gonna look back on it now. It's like, man, I did this when I was in my 20s, but I'm glad I did, because I learned how to do this, and I'm so much better. So,
all right, Jeremy, what's a manly thing you're terrible at, but pretend you're good at?
Push-ups.
I was gonna say, I was gonna make the age-old joke of performance in the bedroom.
Everyone.
But then I was like,
everyone. Look. I want to be real with you. This is all about real talk, Byron. I've had issues in the bedroom before in the past as well. And even on a somewhat, I won't say regular basis, but it's something that it sticks to the back of your mind. So, manly thing. Okay, let's bring this up to the surface so we can say bedroom performance, right?
Yeah.
I think it's because again, it's a thing that guys get insecure about, is dick size and how good they are in the bedroom and blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
So if you bring this to the surface. Every guy wants to say, yeah, I've got like a 14-inch penis.
Mine's 17 inches long.
Oh, 17. There you go. That's been mine. I'm insecure now. I
exactly.
fuck like a wildebeest. I can go all night. I have an unlimited amount of semen in my balls.
Godly.
And I think it's a very big misconception as well, because that's what we're raised to believe. The longer, the harder, the better you can go, the more manly you are. It is very fucking normal to not have a 17-inch penis like Byron, okay? It is very normal. So,
here it is.
There you go.
I've got it out.
Holy shit, there you go. That's an actual measuring stick. Like, you can go look at, if you want to, like, there's science out there that's like, look, this is the average penis length for this race, this section of the world, that kind of thing. And if you're longer, good on you. If you're shorter, good on you. But the fact of the matter is, the fact you have a penis, good on you. Okay?
Well done.
Well done. Because if you can use it, excellent. If you can't use it, like, it's a bit more difficult that way, right?
Yep.
That's number one. You have a penis. It doesn't matter about the fucking size.
Yeah, learn to use it properly.
Learn to use it. Now, that's the cracker. Okay, and a lot of guys, God, we can have a whole bloody episode about
this. This is a
sex.
topic.
It is a topic. Well, we'll go through it very briefly, but about performance itself is, as long as you and your partner, mostly your partner, is enjoying themselves, that's what matters the most. Like, it doesn't always matter that you have to finish. It doesn't matter that they have to finish. Like, you need to talk about it. Obviously,
communication.
Again,
it's
it's
all
the
it comes
biggest
down
thing.
to is.
Because again, we all want to be like, yeah, I just want to show them that I can, come, 17 times, that I can go for like 7 rounds in a row. Like, you can do the research as well. Just, I'll put it in front of you. It's very normal to, have a romp that goes for, well, what's the average length of sex? Like 12 minutes or something? 15 minutes? I don't even know.
That'd be inclusive of foreplay, Jeremy. Like
no,
that's everything, my guy.
Okay, look. The normal length is, you should be like something like 15 to 20 minutes of foreplay, 15 to 20 minutes of sex, and then 15 to 20 minutes of like aftercare. Okay?
Oh shit. No.
Like, that's typically what it should be. Bloke's like, yeah, I want to go for fucking, 3 hours just pounding, not coming 7 times. No. It's also very normal to finish once and need to recharge. And sometimes that recharge can take a whole night, a whole day. Okay? So not
Sure
everyone's
can.
like, yep, come, I'm ready to go straight away. Yeah, some people like that. A lot of people not. So don't feel bad that, oh, I'm insecure because bloody Johnny Sins, has this 14-inch girth master and just goes 7 girls. And I'm like, I don't know, man. This is porn's right in your brain. Do the actual, if you want to know the facts, you can literally Google it. We can Google it right now, and those are the actual facts. Final thing. So that's about dick length. How long, how hard, how fast you should go about it. Third thing is quite literally if you're able to keep it up or not. Okay? Because, again, something guys don't want to admit. It's like, yeah, no, I totally went there, man. If you are unable to get it up for whatever reason, it's normal. It happens.
Yep.
Performance anxiety.
Yep.
Byron, I don't know if you've ever had it. Have you ever had performance anxiety before?
I actually haven't.
Well, there you go. It helps a lot when you work out, eat healthy. It works that way.
Yeah.
Performance anxiety is a real bloody thing because you want to impress this person so much. You want to make sure that they're getting pleasure. You want to make sure that everything's going well. And sometimes it just don't work.
Yeah.
Okay. It is 100% a psychological thing. If it is...
Or it can be hormonal. I know that much.
It could be a hormonal thing because it could be
which means talk to your doctor.
Again, I was just going to say, so thank you for correcting me. So it's not 100% a psychological thing. A lot of the time, it is a psychological thing, but a lot of the time as well, oh, hello, cat. A lot of the time as well, it can be a medical thing. And so if that's the case, have a chat with your doctor about it because there are things that you can do to help the situation. Okay?
Yeah.
So just because you don't have, I don't know, a 14-inch penis, maybe it's because you are also... I don't know, you're not sure about how you feel. Sometimes you can't get it up. It's not unmanly. Like, these are very normal things that a guy will come across in their life. And for the most part...
And I would say a lot of guys do pretend.
Yeah.
Right? We all showboat. We all peacock. Like, I remember in school, we used to all be like, oh, yeah, man, my cock's, massive. Oh, yeah. And in the back of your mind, you all sit there and I bet you it's not. We all know it's not.
Yep.
But it's funny. And then it swung the other way. We were like, yeah, I have a 1-inch penis.
Oh,
yeah, my penis is so... Yeah, it's so small, even I can't see it anymore. And there's no in between, which automatically actually tells me that if we're like, yeah, I've got a foot long or I've got a 1-inch, it falls somewhere in the middle.
You'd say, man, I have a very average-sized penis. I'm just going to tell you. So...
I mean...
But
it's called the average for a reason.
The average for a reason. But... I'm sure there's more things that guys come across, but I think a lot of things that guys will showboat about is sexual performance. I don't think there's enough of a conversation about it where it's just normal to just be average, and that's most people.
Yeah.
But there are things that you can do to get better, and again, it requires research, it requires practice, it requires communication, but a lot of that is something that gets better over time, provided that you're willing to learn from it. So...
Yeah.
I don't know. Are there any other showboaty things, Byron? How do you feel about that conversation?
Well, the only thing I actually thought of, because originally that was going to be my joke answer, but I'm glad we went down that rabbit hole, because that one is much more applicable to guys in general, right? Straight up. And I think every guy at some point has thought about it, whether you're big, small, performance-wise, whatever. It is one of those conversations that, I mean, shit, man, we don't even really talk about it. And we're really good friends. I'm like, hey, man, how's your performance today? Where did you... It just doesn't really happen because it's an intimate thing and you share that with your partner. But anyway, I digress.
It is. And no, I think it's normal because, the most you'll have chat with the boys, oh, yeah, I got some last night.
Buddy.
That's about the worst. But you'll perhaps never... I've already had conversations because I'm comfortable talking about it. But you won't really have conversations with how was it? Did you enjoy each other's company? And... Yeah. Very rarely it's I actually struggled to get it up. I'm not really sure what's going on. Might be a medical thing. And being able to be that vulnerable with your guy friends without them taking the piss out of you.
Well, dude, you know what? I'm fine with that, and I'd be fine going the other way. To the point where I was going to say so in my situation, I always ask, is it good? Is there anything I can do better? It sounds weird, but I ask for feedback and real-time feedback as well. I'm like, hey, I want to make sure you're having a good time. And for the most part, I got to say, this sounds weird talking about it on a podcast for the world to listen, but we have quite a healthy relationship.
That's
in
good.
That respect.
That's good.
Yes. So
actually, one good thing I did learn, especially if it's with a new partner, a very important question to ask is quite literally, what do you like? Or how do you finish? Right? Because everyone's different. Everyone's got different bodies. It changes. So what is generally good with one partner might not necessarily be the same for another.
Yeah.
Right? Some people...
You know what? Actually, this question is great for this very purpose, because I think, again, we like to be, like, as generally speaking, guys like to be like, yes, I'm good at it. And one of the comments that I got from my current partner is, it was a real nice surprise. You talked a good game and then you backed it up. Like, you actually followed through on your game. And I was like, yeah, I didn't realize people didn't do that. Right? But apparently it's really common because girls talk way more, I realize now, than what boys do. I found out that after we got together, all her friends kind of knew what the deal was. And I was like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? That's sacrilegious, isn't it? And it's like, no, like, we just...
Girls talk.
If we compare notes. Yeah. And not in like a try and one up kind of way. It's like, oh, this was really good, or this didn't quite work, or do you know I've never finished this way, or, I can't get it. Is this okay? Does this make sense? My boyfriend does it. And you're like, oh, okay.
Well, yeah,
like,
that's actually, to me, very healthy discussion. Because for girls, it's like, okay, is there anything that I could or should be doing that, my friend Jennifer is or should be doing, right?
Yeah.
Or is their partner treating them in a way that I appreciate that my partner's not doing? It's like, because again, a lot of this stuff is never talked about because it's intimate, it's taboo, it's embarrassing, and we get that. So I think it's a pretty important discussion to have. And girls obviously do it. Good on you, guys.
Yeah, well done, ladies.
Again, we
got a long way to go.
We do. So for the most part, if you're not sure, guys, on a very early, we should talk about this at some stage. I think it's good. At some point, we have to now. But I think it's like, number one, new partner, talk to them. It's like, what do you like? How do you finish? What do you enjoy in the bedroom? Because believe it or not, a lot of it is not just mindless pounding, because that's not what it's all about.
And in fact, it's they have limits and they have things that feel good in different places. And
absolutely.
Oh, Jesus.
It goes on. And number two is be bloody modest, because the worst thing you can do is talk a big game and underperform.
Yeah.
Right? If you just don't talk about your game at all, it's like, just be mysterious about it. Oh, just going to have to find out. Right?
Yeah.
And then you overperform, much better.
Yeah.
Much better. So
actually, on that note, I think if you're in that sort of scenario and you're a bit more flirtatious and things like that, what you're talking about with mystery, it is about getting the mind going.
Yep.
Not being like, yeah, I'm gonna and this is gonna be and it's like, yeah. It's no. Instead, it's I'm gonna help you feel some things maybe, and we're gonna see what that looks like and explore it together. That's the kind of game that I think guys who are trying to be very masculine kind of overlook.
Yeah, I think so too. Because it's all about, because unfortunately for guys, it's all peacocking. It's, I need to look the best. I need to look the manliest. I need to be the best, loudest, smartest, best looking, richest person in the room. Or it's not about that. Not about that. Flirting and the art of seduction or whatever it is
seduction.
Seduction is all about connection. Yeah. And a part of that flirtatious vibe is being a little bit mysterious, being a little bit cheeky, and not kind of just saying, look at A, B, C, D, E, F, G, good qualities I've got.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So, oh boy, we haven't one about sex, about flirting, about, God, the topics, look, this is why being a man is confusing. There's a lot of different facets, which we have to figure out by ourselves, but...
You should see some of the other questions that are still on here that we can't touch on today. It's like... There is so much to it.
Yeah.
And so many things that go left unsaid. And, maybe sometimes Reddit gets a bit of flack, right? But it's an anonymous environment.
It is.
You can ask questions without reservation or judgment.
Yeah.
Imagine if we got to the point, Jeremy, where questions like this could be asked amongst your friend group, right?
That
Male
would be
or
so
female.
good. Yeah. Without judgment, without reservation.
Without judgment.
And with just like, hey, I genuinely want to help my friend and not take the piss out of him. Right?
Yep, and whether you're going through divorce, having erectile dysfunction, not sure about how many push-ups you can do, or, navigating something in the workplace. Maybe we don't need Reddit. Maybe we just talk to each other.
Maybe we'll actually have a healthy conversation with just people in our lives. That would be
Maybe.
wonderful. But
That would be nice.
I really enjoyed this thing of, here's like a question which both of us haven't even thought about. And,
it's hard.
It is. It's hard, but I quite enjoy it. So
It's fun.
I hope we get to do more about this kind of thing. It's quite good. So
Yeah.
But I'm going to bookmark that in my brain, Byron. Sex and relationships and the art of flirtation. Yes. We'll definitely have to have a chat about that at some stage. It'll be good.
So the two action items for people who have listened to this and made it to the end of the podcast. One, if you want to challenge us on our push-ups, bring it on.
Let's go.
Bring it on. We're ready.
I'm actually going to check myself after this just to make sure I can back up what I said.
You're like, shit, I got to 12. I'm done.
God damn it.
And then the second thing is, if you want an episode on the intimacies of intimacy, you have to let us know.
Let us know, because at this point in time, we're kind of just, making up what we think is going to be a fun topic. But if there's something
we want to provide entertainment and value, right?
Entertainment and value.
Like, we want you to listen to this and be like, oh my God, I got something from it.
Yeah. But if there's something specifically that you want to hear about, that you want to hear our take on, or our particular advice as two dudes in their 30-somethings, we can provide you with the insight that we've got in our 30-something years of living. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fun. But Byron, this was fun. We should do it again. We should do episode 11 at some stage. That'd be good. But,
that sounds like a plan.
Yeah. But just a final reminder, if you guys enjoyed this episode, if you like our vibe, please consider subscribing to the JustMen podcast Patreon for just the cost of a cup of coffee, an Australian cup of coffee, mind you. So for any American listeners, it's a lot cheaper. Australian cup of coffee to support what we do, just to keep this podcast online. Please consider joining us at the JustMen podcast Patreon. Links in the description below.
Yes.
Oh, on a side note too, Byron and I have been working on something really cool in the background, so we'll tell you about that in some upcoming episodes coming up soon. So
yeah, keep a lookout because it's been fun.
Has been. Byron, it's been a pleasure, my friend. We'll sign off here and we'll talk again next week about something fun.
Yes, be JustMenly.
BJ Men podcast. Let's go.
Yeah. Love you.
All right. Love you guys. Thanks very much. See you next time. Bye.